Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
What do you mean this is episode 101? This is Fabricant 100. Welcome, everybody. I'm an amalgamation of the best parts of many other podcasts, Maxidine, here with the mad scientist who will stop at nothing to construct the best podcast episode, but maybe should have stopped at 100. Isekai Sensei Sama Brad. Brad, how you doing?
I'm going to do my best to construct this into the perfect podcast.
We're going to steal another podcast's intro, and another one's editing, and another one's chit-chat.
And we already stole this idea from Shonen.
No, ours is different. In a court of law, they would find that this is a different thing.
It's covered under parody law.
We only read one thing. We are birth, they are death. It's very different. I'm suing death. It's too much like birth. And here we are. We've crossed the threshold. We did a giant retrospective episode that we right now haven't recorded yet and probably won't for another month, but it's ages until you hear any of this, so it doesn't matter, but I'm sure it was a great time.
It'll be interesting to hear our tone of voice in this episode versus what we record after that episode.
Yes.
It takes a lot out of us.
Interesting. But yes, here we are at episode 101, covering Fabricant 100. I mean, I think the plan was always I was going to shunt this one further. It just everything got shuffled from the jump drop from probably 3 months ago at the time you hear this.
No, this one was always going to be 101.
I think so, but I guess just a lot of the other of this particular arc, this whatever the heck it is arc.
Yeah, actually, I think this was supposed to be the last episode of this arc,
and now is in the middle.
Right in the middle,
if not near the start. But no, we're kicking it old school for me at least. But let me get to the other stuff before we get to that. So this was written and illustrated by Daisuke Enoshima, who previously had a one-shot of this, and before that he worked as an assistant on the Elusive Samurai. Man, Elusive Samurai has been running for a while.
Yep.
This ran from December 5th, 2022 to September 4th, 2023. I don't know why I had a thought. I had a thought that I remember reading about this back when I worked in the same office as you, which is 3 years earlier than what you have listed as the start and end time. So I don't know where I came up with that then. But no, Fabricant 100 in total is 36 chapters compiled into 5 volumes. Oh my goodness, the last 2 volumes haven't been released in English yet.
Not as far as I could tell.
But they are available digitally. I'm surprised any of them are available physically. That seems strange.
What do you mean?
I feel like a lot of these shorter run ones they don't print.
Well, this is on the longer side. 36 chapters.
I guess.
5 volumes.
I mean, yeah. 5 volumes. I don't know why that just seems surprising to me. I just assume they don't. Because there's more popular, longer-running manga in Jump that still don't have physical American releases.
Yeah.
Or didn't until very recently. Ones that you'd expect. I'm never going to say Roboco should have printed volumes in America. I think that's just burning money.
If we knew how the Japanese publishing conglomerates worked.
But it's more than that, because it's the thing of, will this sell in America or the West? Big air quotes, big audio air quotes.
Or maybe it didn't, and that's why the last 2 volumes aren't out.
I guess. This is why I'm surprised they did it at all. Man, I really thought this was earlier in all this happenings. This was translated by Jan Mitsuko Cash and lettered by Erika Terekes?
Terekes, I believe, yeah.
These were 2 names I don't think we've come across specifically. I know you're using your eyes and you can read and I can read too, but I mean specifically since we started paying attention to them, I don't think we've seen these names.
I don't think we've listed these out.
Yes,
but I definitely have heard of Jan Cash.
Correct,
before.
We've heard of them. I'm just saying we haven't, because Jan Cash, which from your helpful notes was on episode 113 of Shonen Flop covering 2 on Ice, which we have covered. which he translated. Other notable works to us is Dear Anemone, Hakutaku. I forget Hakutaku exists all the time.
That's fine.
Memory hold, even more so than other stuff. Hematan, Marriage Toxin, Psych House, and Shinobi Undercover. And Erica's other notable works is, you can tell you put this list together, Children in Another World with level 2. Is it not my level 2? Is it literally just with level 2 super cheat powers? I
have a feeling that a lot more people know this than some of the other ones I've listed before, because this one has an anime that came out recently.
Oh, okay. Haikyuu. Look forward to Haikyuu next year, sometime. I got caught up in a Hero Summons, but the other world was at peace.
Another one where it just recently got an anime.
Oh. A good anime or a barrel scraper?
I haven't watched it.
Good point. A barrel scraper then.
Quite possibly.
Marriage Toxin, we have a duo. We have a marriage duo on Marriage Toxin. Shoujo Null and Time Stop Hero. I vaguely remember Shoujo Null back when I paid attention to new stuff in Jump Plus.
Shonen Flop.
When I didn't understand.
At the time of recording this, they just dropped that episode.
Shoujo Null?
Yeah.
That sounds like a nonsense sentence. Speaking of Shonen Flop, I was on the episode for Fabricant 100. Fabricant 100 is, I think, one of the first new manga I started either on first chapter, I think the week it started. I wasn't there. This was before we had a podcast where we talked about this specifically. And if memory serves, I was paying attention to the Jump because I think we had the podcast by now.
Yeah.
We had to have. There's still so much later in the timeline. I'm still very confused by time and my memories. But I think originally, I was like, oh, I'll get to that. And then I think I outed myself on the old podcast about this. I saw a post on the Reddit that I lurk that there was a large lady in this. And I went, hubba hubba, I need to read this now because I have zero credibility as a human being. And honestly, I had a really good time with Fabricant 100. It was very nostalgic to come back to this, even though it's only been, what?
It's 3 years.
3-4 years. It felt like a prior life arc. I don't know why. It was very sometimes you come back to something and you're like, I've changed and this isn't what I thought it was, or this has changed form to my memory. But at least for this first chapter, I'm like, oh man, I miss this. I had a really good time. Not to bury the lead a little bit, but I still hold by, I think Fabricant 100 sticks its landing. I think some of its middle is a little mundled. But I think it does some really neat stuff.
Well, we're not going to find out in this episode.
No, but I know, this is a weird one, because I think this is the only one of the set of this arc that one of us... I've read all of Fabricant 100. It's been 3 years, and you all know that my memory is garbage, but, I have a vague sense of what is happening, what happened, and where we're going, and Brad does not. Brad only has his osmosis powers and having read this first chapter.
I mean, I did listen to the Shonen Flop episode, technically I know
you were there digitally holding my hand when I was nervous, and I still appreciate that to this day, because I was like, I don't know these men. This is before we had recorded with them, and I was very nervous. Do you want to read this big blurb that you wrote between the translator and the localizer? Because I would just have to dive in and not know what I was saying.
As I was compiling the credits for the translator and letterer, I thought of this as I'm reading down all the things that they've covered. Something we haven't talked about before is that with letterers credits and translators to a lesser degree, I've seen it less with translators, but a lot with letterers. And you might be familiar with this for Cypher Academy, where the original translator quit the series.
Yes.
And they had to bring someone else in to take over. There's a lot of credits for these people where they only have a couple chapters.
Oh yeah, I usually skip those where it's somebody was out a week, unless it was something specific like Cypher Academy, where it was this person stopped and this person started. I guess for much worse reason, Jujutsu Kaisen also comes to mind for a translator, but that was not the reasoning.
Yeah.
The reasonings why they left or were removed are very different between those two.
So I just wanted to make a note that we only list when they have worked on the full series. Or
a notable chunk of it.
But most of them have tons and tons of partial credits as well.
Yeah.
So
I feel honestly, it should have been in this arc, but I feel like one day we do need to cover Cypher Academy and and maybe reload it for funsies.
The additional point there is there's also tons of credits for the novel versions of a lot of these. Letterers not so much, but especially translators will have novel credits that you read it first and you go, oh, I know that series, and then it says web novel, light novel, whatever, and you're like, oh, nope. Didn't read that. Just the manga version.
The original, quote unquote. Further up the family tree. Interesting. So without further ado, let us get to Moxie's Mock Speed Manga Summary. Most people will chase perfection in a pursuit that they love. But when does that drive turn to obsession, become a problem? Perhaps when that labor gains a life of its own. For one man, his endeavor culminated in exactly that, as his creations took on his obsession as a compulsion, and he died, never to see the summit himself. I just want to make sure it's clear if anybody's never read this, that is a Brad poetic fabrication. Fabrication, ha ha ha. I know things that you don't, and it makes what you've written interesting. Or not interesting, depending on how you look at it. Chapter 1. Ashibiya. I do want to say, though, it was good, just to be clear, because sometimes you poetic things, and I go, why are you putting a nice bow on a turd? And that's not the situation. On April 26th of a certain year...
No, wait. You need to read the chapter name.
Oh, I didn't say it?
You only said
I didn't say his name? Yeah. Chapter 1. Ashibi. Ashibe? Whatever.
Either one works.
On April 26th of a certain year, a couple is traveling by train. They're having tea and cake, and the woman looks out the window and bemuses that a boy is running after the train. Her eyesight is so good that she can see the small figure hundreds of meters away. That's how you know we're in pretend Europe, as they said meters. She notes, however, that he seems to be catching up to the swiftly moving locomotive, and then in one terrifying flash, the figure is by the window and pulls her from it. The man is left sitting in horrified confusion. Later, the police are investigating the incident, and only the next day do they find the woman's corpse. Her eyes have been removed. I think they make a point that they've checked everywhere along the route, and when they go back to look in a spot they've already looked, she's there then. Yeah. So they were at where he was and did not find him.
Right, but that didn't seem to matter later on, so I just sort of
it's not plot's important. I just think it's spookier in a sort of true crime sense. It's we looked here already. It's not like we didn't find the space where it was. It's just wherever she went, she was gone and then reappeared somewhere. Sometime later, we find a young boy and a large bonneted woman on a similar train. I think they're in fact on the same train. They're in the dining car and are making a scene. The woman is insistent that the boy will choke on the burger he's about to eat. I love that he's eating a fucking burger. But her boisterous overprotection is disturbing the other passengers. Another diner speaks up about the dangers of riding trains these days. Then why are they here? They know why they're here. They said they're here for work, even though they're dressed very fancy. Because they said, we're all here for work. Why are you here?
I missed that.
Okay. I was just if you're going to ask a question, I have an answer to that. And this allows the boy to give some exposition that they are in fact here to investigate that danger. Continuing the exposition, we found out that the boy is from a genetically exceptional family. This lineage is incredibly long-lived and youthful to the point they should probably be part of extensive research. That won't be possible, though, as the entire family except the boy was murdered and their corpses disassembled. So their thing is they both physically and visually age very slowly. Yeah. So they look very youthful.
There's an example of there's a couple family members shown and they're all over 100 years old, but they look like they're in their 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
And it's how has no one been investigating their long-lived nature?
Because it's kind of Victoria, Europe, kind of maybe, I don't know. But everybody knows about it. I don't know. They're all dead. Who knows? Who gives a shit now? Here's where we learn the boy's name. Ashibe Yao, but you already know that because it's the title of the chapter, and we've read a lot of these chapters. And by that I mean first chapters. We know how to put an MC together with their name. The man who lost his girlfriend the first team is actually here as well, and Ashibe questions him about what happened. The man confirms that his girlfriend was taken by a creature with stitches covering its body. This allows us to get the exposition about what these things are. Fabricants. Their creator was obsessed with perfection, and on the day he created the 100th one, he died. Now on their own, the Fabricants took over his obsession and started to perfect themselves. They do this by seeking out body parts from others to upgrade themselves. Unfortunately, these body parts are attached to living people. Well, at least until the Fabricants are done with them. The man continues to exposit and seems to have a very healthy relationship with justice and revenge. He can never be the protagonist in a shonen series. Ashibe takes his companion and the man to the end of the train, telling him that they are going to see the Fabricant that took his girlfriend. Once there, Ashibe takes out a small ring with a claw. Cut to his arm, which one... Fuck you! As soon as I read it, I was like, he's gonna double it. It's he did it in one. There's no story cutting at all. He physically cuts his arm. Cut to his... God damn it. So So Shibe cuts himself to bleed, and this will entice the Fabricant in because he is of this aging, this very slow aging thing, and the Fabricants are like, hubba hubba, the freshest meat that's ever been.
I went back and changed that one, by the way. I was like, oh, that's a perfect...
I love you, Brad, but I also hate you. The Fabricant does in fact show up. He confesses easily that he was the one that took the woman. In a flash, Ashibe's companion grabs the Fabricant, her bonnet flying off, revealing that she too has stitches, which means she's also a Fabricant. This is a perfect opportunity for Ashibe to exposition about when his family was killed. Ashibe explains that he tricked the Fabricants into fighting each other by promising to give up his body to one of them once he turns 18, which I think he says is like, that's when I've reached my biological peak. I am as flowered and fresh as humanly possible. Immediately after saying this, one of the Fabricants eliminates all the others in the room in an instant. This Fabricant explains that each subsequent Fabricant was made better than the previous one, so she is the strongest because she is Fabricant 100. And so she vows to protect Ashibe as they go after all the other Fabricants. And if you didn't get it by now, it's the large woman in bonnet that has been with Ashibe the whole time.
You already spoiled it.
I mean, we knew that already. I don't know what you're talking about. She was on the front cover with the title of the thing on it. Cut back to the end of the train, and Miss 100 is going to crush the head of this other Fabricant. He's able to break free of her grip and takes off down the length of the train in fear for his life. But as he reaches the engine, Miss 100, don't call her that, is waiting for him.
Too bad.
I'm going to say other names instead. She's Fabricant 100. Fabricant 100's been waiting for him. She's really pissed off since all this stress can't be helping for Ashibe. Did you pick up on why she's obsessed with his health yet? Good. Fabricant 100 punches the other Fabricant so hard in the face that his eyes pop out, and she gives them to the man, which is totally not weird and creepy and lets him have an emotional moment of closure. I mean, yeah, that's a very apt description of what happens and how we feel about it. Now at the train station, they part ways with the man, who offers Ashibe his support if needed while hunting down the rest of the Fabricants. As Ashibe and Miss 100 walk off into the night, they discuss... I know, it's hard to not read what's in front of your eyes. They discuss their goals and each separately take note that there are 82 Fabricants to go, meaning this series can go for a long, long time. Except it doesn't. This was honestly really nice to go back to. I think this is still a really strong first chapter. I think it with my future vision, it pays off of a lot of what it does, and what it promises. It generally, both in the long term and the short term, I think it pays off what it's doing. Obviously, that's my position. Man, is the allure of large, cool ladies still a driving factor? I would not say... I don't think it's completely clouding my vision of it, and I guess you will be the helpful other viewpoint on things, but, like, again, I honestly think, like, I like the kind of spooky mystery true crime element to it of, like, she was just, like, but with, like, a supernatural element of, like, something ran after the train and just removed her out the window. There's, like, a frame of, like, her partway out the window, and then she is gone. And it's, like, that's so... spooky. I love that.
I feel like...
So yeah, where are you with this? Let's put the boat in fully first for you before we dig in.
Because I did know a bunch about this going into it, even though I hadn't read it. I think I didn't get a lot of that mystery stuff that was probably really good if you went into it not knowing anything.
Correct.
So to that extent, I didn't really connect with it in the sense of, oh, this is a mystery. Even though, I mean, I can see the fingerprints of it, but that wasn't what, like, hooked me into it. I thought it was pretty good overall, like a solid foundation. There was, I felt a little strange because there seemed to be multiple situations, and this came across in the summary a little bit, where it's just like, oh, this thing someone just said, or they're in this situation just so we can explain some things, some exposition. It wasn't bad. It wasn't too much, but it stuck out to me a bit. So
yeah, and especially like I guess it's one of those things of like it's my old media like payment system. It's like if you're in the green, you can give more money when the story asks of you to go like, here's a kind of weird or a part that sticks out. Maybe this is a little cliched or hackneyed. And if you're having a good time, you'll go, oh, I'll pay money. There's no bump here. I'm just having a good time. And like all the exposition, I can see that the like weirdness, like I don't feel weird about it, but like we come from a long-lived family, and like again, my future vision gets to go, I don't think that's ever explained. It just sort of is, and I'm chill with that. But that's also because I like what's happening, and I think it's neat, and it gives a reason to like we don't see more of it, but like this one's just going to be full of future vision because I haven't thought about Fabricant 100 in literally years, and it's been cool going back to it. One of my favorite things of the series is the dynamic between Ashibe and Fabricant 100 by virtue of what their relationship is built on, because she cares about him bodily, but they make multiple points in the future to go, this is an insane killing machine. This is a wild animal. And she looks like this nice woman in her little dress and her bonnet, whatever. And I will always remember there's like one part later on when they like get to admittedly the part where the series sags, where there's like, here's the keep of the weird organization that's also trying to look into these things, which it's like, why are they, whatever, not important. But they like for a moment take Ashibe away from her, and instantly everybody is just like, in a very, now that I think of it, a very like Toriko way, or like a bunch of other stories do this, where it's like, her general tone and vibe instantly change to like again this killing wild animal. Like, this is not a person, this is not human. It might look human and it might act personable around you, but that's like, it's literally just, that's what she does around Ashibe, because Ashibe, she wants to placate Ashibe so he's not stressed, and like she's going to fucking eat him. And I just think that's such an interesting, it's not just the like, I'm stuck to you and I hate you. It's the, I need to keep you safe and unstressed, but I'm not a human. Like, I'm not, you might think I'm a person, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And I found that dynamic really interesting. Admittedly, we don't really see that a lot here, but you see the starts of it, of the thing of like, I can't have you eating that giant burger. Like, you're going to choke on it. Like, if you die, this whole thing falls apart.
And to that end, I feel like the first chapter probably could have held some things back to dole out more over time. Like the backstory between the two of them. Like, I didn't need to see the entire scene of that right away. Like, maybe tease it a little bit, but don't tell me exactly what happened, so that we can have a culmination in a future chapter.
Of like what their relationship is?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any other pieces in the first chapter that if you took that out. Because what? You already get the thing of, you don't need Ashibe's backstory to understand why the Fabricants, we're just straight up told directly by the narrator why the Fabricants are taking parts.
I think you probably could have just had an explanation of what the Fabricants are. Potentially the fact that someone created them, just to give you the framework of like, this is what these things are and the reason they're coming after people.
Yeah, I think Ashibe could make a point that like something happened, like he doesn't have to get into the particulars. I guess
Right.
You could save that for a couple chapters. I do feel like it's so interesting. Like, this is my blind spot. I guess not blind spot. This is my biased problem with this manga. Is this manga has a thing that is not in a lot of other manga that I like, and I think is handled well. And I don't know if it's because that is there, because there is a particular sauce on it that is to my particular palate, as opposed to either what to my viewpoint is no sauce or a sauce that's not for me. That the like, because we've had stuff that we've covered. Again, the new Shonen Jump Drop is still fresh in my mind a little bit. Like, where we go, this is too much exposition. You said everything you are out of the gap. You left no mystery that was interesting, or left hooks or something. And like, you're right, there's a lot of exposition here, but I never, both in my original reading and my reading back now, I don't notice that, even if I can go, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, there's kind of, I think they handle it okay, but I do think when I look at it with that kind of glasses on, like, yeah, it is kind of weird how much they stick in here out of the gate.
I think there's definitely...
Like, is this... my point becomes is this handled better than the other stuff, or is it just that I'm having a better time by virtue of the sauce that that I can float over them a little easier, to bring back that old terminology.
I think it's probably both. I think that part of it is, this is your thing, and you got really into it.
Yes.
And so when that happens, it's really easy to float over stuff. See every piece of trash isekai that I read.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think the over exposition in this was particularly bad. It didn't stick out to me because it was taking me out of it. It just stuck out to me because the lead up to some of the exposition seemed out of place.
It seems a little forced. I think I just have Gonron egg on the brain,
Yeah.
and I will not have peace until it's over and I don't have to think about it. Even though I never have to think about it again. I'm not reading it. I don't know why I can't get it out of my brain.
Specifically, if you compare this to Gonron Egg, the pacing in this wasn't bad.
The pacing was good. It presents you. You get a narrator thing of this is what the deal is with the Fabricants to an extent. You get, before you've even met your main character, you get the setup for the mystery, which felt very like, I mean, any mystery story where you get to see the murder happen, and then the investigator shows up. Ashibe is like vaguely Conan, Detective Conan coded.
Yeah.
Whether intentionally or otherwise, I don't know. Like, he's a boy, but he's very sharp and smart. And that helps with, like, they show up, like, the train is, and especially, like, a murder on a train, even though, but also the murder was, like, weirdly supernatural. So that just adds an extra air of, like, the Hound of Baskerville.
Which is probably why they were like, we checked this area, but then when we came back, that's where the body was.
Yeah.
To add into that mystery,
like,
even though it didn't mean anything.
I love a Victorian era intrigue because it makes you go, what is this thing? What was it doing? Why? Where was the body before, and why is it here
Victorian era
now?
with cheeseburgers.
What? What was it with cheeseburgers?
Victorian era with cheeseburgers.
I know, that's another reason why it's like, why is it a cheeseburger? Like, we're very clearly in pretend Europe in, like, a Victorian era thing or whatever with trains or whatnot. And, like, I'm a sucker for that time period when it comes to, like, again, it's Sherlock Holmesian a little bit.
We should also say, and in contrast to Gonron Egg, there wasn't an overabundance of proper nouns.
No, the Fabricant is the big one, which it's a word that already exists.
It's also in the name of the series.
Correct.
So the fact that it's in there, like, you're already primed for it.
You put the direct.
I was wondering what the original Japanese.
Jinzo Ningen 100, Artificial Human 100.
Yeah.
I think Fabricant.
It's a good name.
I think Fabricant's really good.
Yeah.
Fabricant 100 just somehow rolls off the tongue really nicely.
I'm sure in the original Japanese, they're probably going around going artificial human, artificial human, artificial human. And that, if that was in English, that would be exhausting.
Yes.
Even though it's not a proper noun, it would just be
proper noun
too many
energy,
words.
But yeah, I mean, you already hated writing it for her. I don't know if she gets a shorter name or not, whatever he refers to her as. I
think they just call her 100.
Yeah, I think it's 100. Yeah. Because that's the whole idea of, like, each one gets stronger or more complicated than the last one. So it's like, I have the strongest one, but I still have to suss them out because now they've been getting superpower parts essentially. And I don't remember the particulars of this one. Even though I just read this morning, but, like, them spending time, an emotional moment with the killer, like, that is a reoccurring thing throughout, is them finding the Fabricants and the Fabricants just being like, dude, I'm just trying to figure shit out. Like, they can have emotional moments. There's some, like, real fun stuff in there. I think it's like when the story focuses on those little vignettes, I think it's at its strongest.
I see a parallel there with, especially what you were talking about earlier with, like, 100 is not a human. She's like an animal.
Yeah.
There's this parallel with the demons in Frieren, where it's like, they put on an act. They can speak to people. They can act as if they are humans.
Because it gets them what they want. When really what's going on is, that's a tiger. Yeah. No,
it's
I think
gonna
that might even
eat you.
Yeah. Like you
might think you have it tamed, but you don't.
The moment the pretense drops, like, that's what I said, like, that moment in the manga was so powerful that I've remembered it 4 years later.
Yeah.
Of that concept of just, like, I'm always a sucker for, like, the tone, or not tone shift, because that implies what the writing is, like a vibe shifting, like when the energy in the air changes instantly and everybody's like, what the fuck, in scene. Like, I think that's a really good way, like, it's a simple way to sell somebody's, like, being an even bigger threat than you thought. But it's like that idea, it's like, this is the face I put on for one person, and if they're somehow taken from me, I have no reason to wear this face anymore. Yeah. And I think that just makes a really interesting dynamic that I think plays out throughout the series.
Yeah. Do you remember those guys who did magic shows with the tigers?
Oh, in Vegas?
Yeah.
And one of them is dead?
Well, because a tiger attacked him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what this is, where it's like, listen, you can tame a tiger, but it's still
a Shibe has, by virtue of a Faustian bargain, has trained it.
I mean, that's what.
But if it
taming of any wild animal is, right?
If it escapes his power even a little bit,
We go.
Everybody
I'll
could
feed you, so
everybody
don't
could
eat
be
me.
turned to a blood mist. And yeah, and even he's got the Faustian bargain is once he turns 18, he's done for.
Yeah.
No, I really I still really like this manga. In that, like I said, and I never know how much I'm clouded by bias, because like literally as we were in my living room eating and chatting beforehand, I just can't stop staring up at the wall and like going, oh, I hadn't played that then. Like I think it was out of, I have a painting I did of Lady Dimitrescu, which is so much. She must have been around at the same time, because it's just, what if giant lady in a nice white dress, like that's, and it's like, yeah, that makes my neurons go. But I just like can, and it's been on the wall, like it's been there for over a year now since I painted it, and it's like I hadn't played Resident Evil, what is that, 8 by then, because I only played that like a year ago. But it's just interesting seeing that. It's like people like large lady in a big white dress. It's nice. I don't know. I don't know. I think this is one, like we've had so much of recent arc has been being able to split out my personal feelings about something and what I believe the quality of the work is. And this is one, and maybe it's just because I know I'm biased positively and I had a good time with this both then and now, that I feel complicit. I feel like I'm lying even though I'm not. I feel like my opinion is tainted in a way that I couldn't. But I do believe, like I think and believe in my heart this is a good manga outside of the thing that I like about it.
I feel like you're being overly critical of your own opinion.
I would agree
because of how much we've talked about this in recent
Because I think
times.
it's easier when you're writing something off that you don't like, that you can go, this is not a flavor to me. But it's hard to go, because it's like, I don't know if I have an example yet of this is a flavor. Well, I guess no, I do have an example of this is a flavor for me and this isn't good. It's Nice Prison.
Yeah.
Nice Prison is not a great manga, but it's a flavor that I like, so I ate it until it ran out. So I guess I can do that. So I guess this is my example of
the other direction.
It completes the quadrants of, this is a manga that I do mentally believe is good and also has my sauce, so I am biased about it.
Yeah, I mean, in spite of whatever flaws I might point out here and there, like I think overall it's doing things in a good way. Not necessarily perfect. In fact, not perfect in a lot of ways, but like the overall experience that you get with it is a positive one. So, on the scale of the worst thing ever to the best thing ever, it's above the middle in that way.
How do you feel about the art as a person who has thoughts about art sometimes?
I thought it was fine. There were a couple points that sort of stuck out to me as sort of like, oh, that looks slightly weird, but nothing egregious.
I also love this art style. I love how like weird, whimsical children's book with a dash of Tim Burton it is.
Definitely the characters have that, where it's like there's some roundness to them, but not in the typical way. It's definitely not an art style that I've seen other people do.
Yeah, I have not seen it before or since.
It's sort of close to some other art styles, but it's definitely distinctive.
Yeah, I like it. I like that kind of a, like I said, it's a whimsical picture book, European picture book, with just a hint of I think you get a little bit more of Tim Burton in, like, as you see more people, but there's that, I don't know, maybe it's just because these are corpses that makes me think of that.
Tim Burton vibes from it.
I said, A, it might be from later chapters, and B, like it's literally just it's like a little dropper amount. It's not like oh, this is definitely Tim Burton-y, but like
the only
there's
thing
I think I say Tim Burton as like kind of spooky whimsicalness. That was not that was an unintentional spoopy. A sort of somewhat spooky whimsicalness, I would say. Okay.
The when you said that, the
and
one
there might just be like
that...
the stitches, but also, like I said, there might be stuff later on. I think because of the grim. I think it's the picture book whimsical nature of the visuals, but the grim nature of what's happening. And I think Tim Burton is my closest go-to of whimsical with horror elements.
The only thing that jumped out to me when you said Tim Burton was Ashibe's design.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think because of his eyes.
Yeah, I could see that.
The thing that locks me into that. But the rest of it, I didn't really get that feeling.
I I honestly would love a Fabricant 100 anime. It'd be one season. It could be cool. My brain, I think, because Tim Burton went to like, hey man, it'd be really cool as stop motion, but that's extra never happening, and I don't think it would fully translate to that as well. But no, I really like this manga. I will probably go attempt to get to myself to reread it again because it's been long enough.
Not that long.
It is not. I don't think I would ever fully like obviously we're not reloading this because it's like I've read all of it. It would just be forcing you to read more of it, and I can just do that through normal social press.
I already know,
but I also know you're not going
story,
to do it.
So,
but I just feel like I wanna revisit it. It just feels like it's like seeing an old friend almost that I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, I have too much faded future vision, and you have too much spotty future vision. Like, I don't say where it goes is not a useful question.
I know exactly where it goes.
Yeah. Do you know the ending?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to talk about it.
Shonen Flop episode.
Oh yeah, you were there for it.
Summary.
We literally had to summarize it all. Honestly, listener, if you have not read or at least given a shot to Fabricant 100, I think of everything I have to think about it because some of this arc we've recorded now like a month ago. Brad's gonna look at it and I'm gonna say from everything we've covered this arc, I think this is the one that is like, honestly, if you haven't already, go check it out.
I think I agree with that. So this current arc has
this current arc that I don't know the original plan and what it is now that we've talked and recorded most of it is like, I don't know. I guess I would call this the To Our Roots arc a little bit because we went back to, admittedly, like, because there was some of it was that like, oh, we should cover these things that were in Jump that died then.
Yeah.
And some of these came in and out of the magazine before we were even podcasting, I believe, especially Shonen Jump in the Gun, because we covered everything from when we started and a little before. So and these seemed like major ones to hit.
Our first episode was October 9th of 23.
Okay.
So this was just about ending at that point. Oh no, it had ended a month before.
Fabricant wasn't over when we started?
No, it was September 2023.
Okay, good. I was just that doesn't make any sense to my
That's what I'm saying. It just ended. So
interesting, man.
Maybe Fabricant 100 was the reason we started doing that.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think the real reason we started this podcast is I had a studio that we could just hang out and record things with, and we needed a gimmick for it. But that I don't remember the particulars anymore now. But what's your thinky thinks and your feely feels on it?
I'm gonna say I think good to great, which is a pretty, it's a solid rating, not necessarily getting to high reaching territory, but like really solid. And as far as feelings, I think probably the same, good to great. It's not something that I didn't, read the chapter and get instantly hooked, but I can certainly see the good parts of it. And I am interested in it as a story, but I know the story. So
it makes when you have the intrigue hook, going through the actual human steps of what happens is so much of a different, usually worse experience, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. I'm going to say this, but I mean, you won't know this. Maybe the listener will know this, but in JoJo Part 7, there's a character who I believe is the President of the United States named Funny Valentine. Mm-hmm. And one of the phrases he says is, "My judgment is unclouded." That is not me right now. I'm very clouded right now by bias. Honestly, I both think and feel this is great. And I know so much of that is clouded by future vision.
See,
but I also
thought you would have said you think it's great and you feel it's amazing.
Because I don't think it's I don't think it's the most amazing first chapter.
Fantastic.
Fabulous. I don't think, because I think the points you made were correct, and I know my feelings can change it, but I think it's a really great start. I don't think it's the most blow my socks off fantastic thing ever, and I think some of that can also be shaped by like me being aware of my bias. But like I honestly think and feel it's great. I think it does the things it needs to do. I think it builds intrigue. Maybe it could take it a little easy on some of the exposition, but by and large, I think it pulls it together well. I like the character dynamic. Like, I like the art and the concept. Like, I like everything in it. I don't know what's keeping it. from being fantastic. I don't necessarily think it's all the exposition. I mean, maybe that could have spent time doing a little bit more mystery building, or like instead of doing that, being more like, these are some other people that got taken off the train, and like building the kind of gruesomeness of it, because I kind of dug that, to have that kind of gruesomeness amidst this whimsical art style. But no, I like I said, I'll probably, if I can get myself, I'll probably reread it because I know it's not that long, and I just like thinking about it gives me a warm feeling and I smile, which is not usually true about a lot of manga when I think about them.
You would have said fantastic if you could have seen 100's ankles.
No, no. That is the thing I remember. I think talking about back on the Flop episode was like, she's clearly a pretty lady who's very well built, but I don't think the camera ever. We've talked about this another thing. The camera never leers at her.
No, I mean she's wearing a huge ass dress that you can't really see anything.
But you know the person drawing it goes, yeah, and you know what, buddy, yeah. This is for sickos like me. I go, yes. I go, yeah. I'm at the window going, yes. Yes. I'd honestly buy it. I'm sad that now that we've completed this episode and I'm like awash in my nostalgia feelings.
You can't buy the whole thing.
I can't buy the whole thing. I can only buy the first 3 volumes, and I'd have to read the last 2 digitally, which is kind of a bummer. I think maybe I'd buy at least the first volume just to have it. Maybe when we finally go to Second and Charles, if it's there, I'll buy as much as I can with the credit I have.
I mean, and I'm sure like you could buy the first 3 volumes, and then I would think that they would put out the next 2 at some point.
Or I just read the rest digitally. Some of it is just to have a physical anchor in my home to look at and remember. I mean,
if you just get volume 1, that would be enough.
Yeah, I would get all 3. If they're all there, I'd get them for the right price. Before this year is out, I've seen it with my eyes. I have my tiny bookcase that I've been wanting to have for the studio to put my manga on, and I found it, and my mom painted it. We just couldn't fit it in the car the first time through, but it's going to sit right next to my recording space, and it's going to have all my manga on it. So my manga will finally have a place to live because my bookcase is already bursting at the seams and does not have room for manga.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's fine. I don't care.
If I should say this is probably important. If I didn't know anything about how the rest of this went, I would probably read it. Like, I
mean, this is why this was the only one of this arc, was that we've never covered it, but this is one where you both have a lot of information on it. And I think it was just partially it was because I wanted to revisit, but also it was like Fabricant 100. It's episode 100, but it's 101 because we made 100 a special thing. It's it's funny. And that's why I'm glad, like, I don't like going to series a lot of the time where we have a lot of stuff, unless it's like a mag dump situation or like we have plans to do arcs, like arc of stuff that I read when I was in junior high, or like I think we've even talked about mag dumping something of that, where I have like really fuzzy memories of what it is, but in a way that it's just like, I read this, but I remember like vague visuals and that's it. So, would honestly buy. I feel like it means a lot when I say I'm going to buy, and I'm actively making like actual steps of what I would take to buy it, which is usually I could go, oh yeah, I'd buy it, and it's just this nebulous thought. But here it's like, no, I'd take steps. Like I don't know. I'm more awash in good vibes and nostalgia than I was expecting. Like you could have literally hated, and I would just been like, yeah, no, whatever, I don't care.
I think it would be hard for me to hate
is a strong word, but even I think
so much.
I think sometimes there are things that I like when you don't like them. It's painful to me, and I think on this one I'm just in such a cloud 9 where it's just like I don't need what your feelings are right now. I'm having a grand old time.
That's how I feel about all these.
Yeah, good for you, bud. Good for you, bud. I think that's it. There's other episodes after this one in this arc, this whatever it is arc, this originally called Heaven and Hell arc that has now become Back to Our Roots. Also, wow, that Isekai 99 sure was a humdinger, wasn't it?
We've already recorded things that we called it the Heaven and Hell arc. So.
Yes, I know, but this is now, is this later, before, or after?
There's 2 episodes after this, and they're extra special episodes, so make sure you're subscribed.
Oh, fun. Yes, indeed. Yeah, man, so much got messed up by those double jump drops with all of this and general busyness. So
we can only get messed up one more time, either before or after this one. No, it would have to be after this one comes out, because Otherwise, JoJo January won't be in January.
That I have to hold to. Shonen Jump can Shonen suck it. I'm not going to lose Shonen. After pretending that JoJo January was going to be for the whole month, or that I was going to do JoJo's in the other J months. JoJo Battle Tendency will happen. Blood Oath right now for me to you, listener. JoJo Part 2 Battle Tendency will happen in January of the year 2026.
Blood is life.
That man shoots... No. Dio doesn't shoot blood in Part 1. He shoots his eye goo like a freezing laser.
Yeah, I think it's blood, though, isn't it?
No, I thought it was the
Out
eye
of his
goo.
eyes?
I think one of the Pillar Men does something with his blood. Like he superheats his blood and shoots it at people. I think AC/DC does that, maybe. I don't remember. Not important. We haven't read it yet. We'll do that for JoJo January.
And we're not going to, because that's
We're
later
not going to
on.
get there. We're not even... I don't remember if we meet the Pillar...
We're going to read the first episode.
I
the
think
first
we
chapter.
see the Pillar Men. I don't think we... Oh, actually... we'll get there. I don't know why I'm trying to think about it right now. It's not important.
The one Pillar Man.
But I think we see
right?
do we not see the relief of all three of them, but they only take the one out?
I
They
don't
take
think we see
Santana
that at
out?
the beginning.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll find out. In like a couple weeks.
So yeah. Brad, stitch this podcast back together.
I mean, it did really fall apart there at the end.
Yeah.
Well, as always, we need to thank Sugoi Mart for partnering with us. Sugoi Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch. All kinds of cool stuff you can't get outside Japan. Our listeners can use the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their first order. And we want to hear from you. So go on our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com, where you can find the social links page, which has links to all of the different places where you can chat with us. The best place to chat with us is on our Discord. You'll also find a link up there to our Patreon, where our supporters get perks like getting to vote on what we cover on a various series that we do on here, as well as getting the high-quality stereo version of the podcast early, as well as bonus episodes. We actually had a bonus episode come out recently.
I forgot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we recorded that episode in this arc a billion years ago.
It actually is not quite recent as in this episode, but it's coming out the week that we're recording this. So make sure you get subscribed. And, if you haven't been a patron before, you can join and listen to all of the bonus episodes. And if you can't really afford it, then you can just be a patron for 1 month.
Think about it. You're just paying money for the bonus episodes, and then you leave.
And there's a bunch up there, so fun stuff. But of course, we have to shout out our patrons. So first and foremost, at our noble tier, we have our Marquis, Cake Dwarf, and our Count, Imaginary Numeral. And last, and certainly not least, at our commoner tier, we have Last Man on Earth, Laura Carroll, and Rena. So thank you so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, patrons. Thank you, Brad, for doing that. Thank you, listeners. Make sure you listen to all the podcasts on our feed. And 989 Strong Fabricants on the wall. 99 Fabricants. Find one out. Stop it about. 98 Fabricants. Shoot! I knew I couldn't stick the landing. I knew it.
It was 82, so.
Yeah. 82 82 Strong Fabricants on the wall. 82 Fabricants. Find one out. Stomp it out. 81 Strong Fabricants on the wall. Because I wanted the big, I mean, there's other things that does that, but I'm really specifically thinking of Girl Chan in Paradise when the one guy dies and then they're starting to have the conversation as the voice actor in the booth. The director's like, what do you mean he's dead? Like, I'm supposed to support my family on this. When does he come back? He comes back in a flashback and in 20, like, but I liked that, like, you get a little bit further away from the mic to imply of like, I'm still in the studio and the microphones are still recording, but.
All right, Moxie, this is episode 101.
What do you mean? It's Fabricant.
Do you want to say subsequent?
What? What do you mean subsequent? Is she on all the covers? What do you mean? What are you getting at?
The word is subsequent,
Subsequent.
not subsequent.
Did I say subsequent?
Yeah.
I clearly had a stroke there because I don't remember saying that.
If you just say subsequent, I'll just cut
Subsequent.
it in.
Okay. Subsequent. as formless as possible. I don't remember saying subsequent. That doesn't sound like a thing I would say, but you will show me audio footage later that I am an idiot. This Fabricant explains that each subsequent Fabricant was made better than the previous one.
There was something at the beginning of the summary that you were like, "Oh, that you
I'll
don't
come
know
back
that."
to.
Yeah. Do you remember what that was?
Was it your poeticness?
Oh, because the doctor died. Does he come back?
No, but the story of what he's doing and why he's doing it is really important. The fact that you're making a face at me and not...
I forget that part.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the emotional ending of this whole thing. None of this is making it on... This part I'm going to say because it's uber spoilers and I didn't want to do it on the podcast. It's not making it there. But the ending thing is that there was war and he was living... I think he was somebody who had made the engines of war, but he like had lost his memories or like escaped to this island. And everybody there was like super like nice. They were just people living their lives. And then... essentially his machines of war, like a bomb drops and kills them all. And he's like, in penance, he essentially tries to bring them all back to life from the body of corpses that the bomb had created. And because every Fabricant is somebody who lived in that village. That is what my memory of it is.
Okay.
But that was the main thing. It was somebody who had made war, was like, this is fucked, tried to get out. Start this new life because everybody, he's in this cutthroat world, essentially. You could probably say the Nazis. I don't know if it was specifically German coded or not. And everybody's like super nice and chill and understanding and helpful. And then they all die. And it's just like, he's just like, no, like these were such paragons of humanity. Like they didn't deserve this. And he tries to bring them back, but they're not quite right.